Now bow down to your king. You do not belong here. Go home.
If you were to go back 10 years and ask the general public whether a show about the devil would succeed on our television screens, it's likely they would have said no. But then 2016 came round and Fox graced us with Lucifer, a show revolving around the popular character of Lucifer Morningstar, who acts less like the devil we have come to know over the years and more like other anti-heroes like Deadpool and Venom. It's over 4 years later, and Lucifer, after being picked up by Netflix, is ready for its 5th season, which has the majority of fans excited to the point of exhaustion. But what do we really know about the upcoming season? Make sure you stick around because today we're going to take a look at what we can expect from Season 5 of Lucifer. But first, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Let's start with the complicated past of Lucifer. Fans of Lucifer are to this day still surprised at the fact that the show is getting a 5th season, mostly due to the fact that Fox, who had the exclusive rights to the series, decided not to renew it for a 4th season. Lo and behold, the savior that is Netflix swooped in and grabbed Lucifer by its horns, excuse the terrible pun, and brought the 4th season to its streaming platform for all subscribers to see. Season 5 of Lucifer actually released on the streaming platform a few days ago. It was the 21st of August, to be more specific, which means that as soon as you are done with this video and are all clued up on what we know about the devilish installment, you can go ahead and binge it to your heart's content. Before you do that, however, let's take a brief recap of Season 4. Here's a revisit of the plot so far. Season 4 of the action-packed show brought us a storyline revolving around the chaos that was ensuing in Hell as a result of Lucifer not taking care of business as he was supposed to. I mean, as the king of Hell, he is supposed to reign supreme in the underworld, not play superhero detective alongside the love of his life. As such, the demons of Hell decided it was time to overthrow the king and take Hell for themselves. A thought that, considering how strong Lucifer is, should have stayed at the back of their heads for sure. The season saw Lucifer rising to power and taking care of the demon scum that had tried to rebel against him, once more returning natural order to the world. Showing immense resolve and still on a high from seeing Lucifer unleash his darkest powers, viewers became highly emotional when they realized the inevitable. With Lucifer having to return to Hell in an attempt to maintain this natural order, his relationship with Chloe Decker would have to come to an end. Fans watched as the two kissed one last time and Lucifer started to sink into the ground. What does this mean for Season 5 though? Are the two over for good? Well, let's take a look at the trailer to find out more. We'll first talk about Chloe's struggle. The trailer for Season 5, released back in July of this year, brought many fans to their knees in excitement. There was a very legitimate worry, after all, that Lucifer was going to be shot from 2 different perspectives. The first is Chloe's perspective when living on the surface and dealing with the evil there, and the second is Lucifer's perspective, who, as the king of Hell, was likely perpetuating this evil in an attempt to stay close to Chloe. Although an interesting concept, this would likely have been too far disconnected from the story fans have come to know and love over the past few years. The first thing we see from the trailer is how Chloe has been struggling with Lucifer's disappearance. She is, after all, now missing a part of herself. The trailer focuses on the King of Hell saying, "She'll be just fine without me," and continues to go to show a multitude of clips of Chloe throwing herself into work, endangering her life, and going out to clubs with the intention of drinking to forget. The clear divide between how Lucifer thought Chloe would be without him and how she actually is cannot be ignored and is likely going to be explored throughout the series. It's one thing loving your significant other, but another thing being altogether completely dependent upon him or her. Let's hope that Season 5 explores this divide and causes Chloe to develop into a strong woman who doesn't actually need to be with Lucifer, but chooses to spend her time with him because they are in love. As we said earlier, there is a definite difference between the two. Next, how Lucifer is back, but far from normal. The next portion of the trailer reveals a gunfight between some bad guys and Chloe's crew, only to be interrupted by some joyous whistling and the reveal that Lucifer is in fact back. In response to Amenadiel exclaiming that he is back, Lucifer remarks that he returned because his stay in Hell was quite boring, so he thought it would pop back to check up on everyone. Strangely enough, this seems more reminiscent of the Lucifer we explored in Season 1 of the show, who had little to no interest in Chloe until their budding love started to flourish. Something has changed, reinforced by his love's declaration to Linda Martin that Lucifer is acting differently. The difference in character goes on to be explained by Lucifer, who tells Chloe that time works very differently in Hell. Even though he's been gone for a few months in total on the surface, he has already ruled Hell for thousands of years. Clearly, he has had sufficient time to develop into a character that we have not yet seen before. So the question remains is, what can we expect from this version of the King of Hell? Will his relationship with Chloe continue as per usual, or has he found someone new to rule Hell alongside him? Does he still have goodness present within him, or has he abandoned hope and returned to the dark side, as the natural order of the world required him to do? Next, we have the shocking reveal. Well, it seems that none of these questions will be answered by studying this version of the King of Hell, as is made obvious by the reveal that he is not the Lucifer we have come to love. In all honesty, he is not Lucifer at all. That's right, boys and girls, the return of Lucifer will have to wait, as the character we now have before us is Michael, his twin brother. You don't get more dramatic than that. But what does that mean for Tom Ellis and the character he is now portraying? What can we expect from Lucifer's twin brother? Well, considering the reveal that Michael is not in fact Lucifer is forced out of him in his fight with Mazikeen, we can go ahead and assume that this is not something Michael was forthright with. It makes sense that the character has regressed to the Lucifer we knew back in season 1, as Michael is pretty much putting on a show and acting like his brother, or rather, how he knew his brother to be before Lucifer left heaven and hell to roam the earth. We can thus expect Michael to pretend to be Lucifer for as long as possible until he gets found out, but the question that remains is why now? Why is Michael on Earth? Next, we have the lore of the Archangel Michael. It won't take you by surprise to hear that a lot of lore used in the show is based on what can be found in a little book we like to call the Bible. But rather than drawing directly from the source material, Lucifer turns on its head and almost goes with the opposite. Where Lucifer as the King of Hell is supposed to be the bringer of all evil, Lucifer Morningstar is revealed to be nothing more than an anti-hero with a heart of gold and love for his human companions. So what assumptions can we make about Michael then? Well, in the book of Revelation, Michael leads God's armies against the forces of Satan and eventually defeats Satan in a war that had erupted at heaven's doors. Originally described as an angel of healing, Michael was given the title the Archangel Michael and became more of a protector of all things good. If we turn this concept on its head, as the show is sure to do, we can assume that Michael will do everything in his power to spread darkness through the world. In fact, it very well could turn out that he is the one behind the demon rebellion of season 4. I mean, someone must have organized the rebellion and motivated the demons to rise up against Lucifer after all. An incredible twist would be Michael turning the world against Lucifer by changing history itself. Imagine if it had always been Michael that had betrayed God and fallen from heaven, with Lucifer actually being the protector of good and leader of God's armies. But humanity sees it as the opposite, as Michael has rewritten the history books. The notion of history is written by the victors comes to mind and would make a pretty great explanation as to why Lucifer is so conflicted as a character. Remember though, this is all just conjecture. So what about the true return of Lucifer? Finally, the trailer ends in a combination of action-packed clips, which we see Lucifer himself returning from hell and engaging in combat against his much stronger twin. It's our hope that this little engagement takes place earlier on in the season, so the rest of it can be focused towards Lucifer becoming stronger and eventually defeating Michael with the help of his friends, whom Michael tried to separate from him. All in all, we expect the usual combination of action and humor, but this time with real emotion and risks spread throughout. Lucifer has always been the strongest of characters, but now facing another who is not only stronger than him, but dead set on ruining his reputation with his friends, Lucifer will have to really develop as a character to defeat this evil. Anyway, that wraps up the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.